Welcome to a world where we fight to the finish, and at the heart of it is one recognizable image. Originators, titans of business, brand architects, respected since 9/7 skies.
What's up, everybody? Third episode of MMA Talk Canada with my good buddy Saad Suleiman. Today we are going to do the main card predictions for UFC 156. Now, Saad, if you want to give us a little background on the event, what do you think of it?
I think it's one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. Top to bottom, this main card is amazing. The UFC actually on Twitter just posted something really interesting. They said every fighter on this card has headlined a UFC or WEC card. Now that speaks volumes about the quality of talent here. Like, every fighter here is a name fighter, from the flyweight division all the way up to the heavyweight division.
Every fighter is a named fighter. If even the average guy who watches a couple UFC a year, they would know who these guys are. Even the flyweights, Benavidez and McCall, they're coming out this year. They were back in WC days. Everyone knows who these guys are. So I'm really looking forward to this card. And the first fight we're gonna get into is Joseph Benavidez and Ian McCall. Now I'm a big Benavidez fan, and I'm not putting this into I'm not being biased at all. I still think Benavidez will win this fight. I think he's gonna be the bigger guy. He's gonna have the height disadvantage by a couple inches, but I just think he's a thicker fighter. I think his jiu-jitsu is better than McCall's, and his stand-up. Now, where I think that McCall had the advantage is the wrestling. We seen him with the wrestling in the first fight of Mighty Mouse, where he was able to take him down in the third round and just land bombs on him. But I still think that Benavidez wrestling is good enough to be able to avoid the takedown and grind out a decision win here. How about you, Saad?
Yeah, this fight right here it could be a potential #1 contenders fight, but for the fact that both have lost to DJ.
Yeah.
Mighty Mouse. However, I think there's more intrigue to seeing McCall fight DJ again, given that it would be a trilogy, and given the fact that their first fight ended up in a draw. I think there's not a lot of people clamoring to see Benavidez and DJ again. So even if Benavidez wins, I don't see him getting a rematch right away. Even though arguably you could say that Benavidez was having an off night, but I think DJ has pretty much perfected how to fight at a featherweight. Like, even the Dodson fight that just happened over this past weekend was an amazing fight.
Yeah, that was a good one.
In this fight right here, I don't see Benavidez being the bigger fighter. I think McCall will be, just given the way how his body type is. And at the same time, I don't see how McCall has an advantage in wrestling. Benavidez is an amazing wrestler. Like, he took down Mighty Mouse. He couldn't keep him down. That's just the nature of the flyweights, but he did take him down. McCall does have an amazing wrestling, so it's going to be interesting. I think they might neutralize each other.
Yep.
Just the way they are. So it's pretty much, I think it might be decided on the feet. And the thing with McCall is he's going to keep coming. I don't know, he might gas. That might be the issue. So it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm going to lean towards McCall to win a decision, but just because I like him.
Yeah.
Because I really don't see where either fighter has an advantage. I think maybe McCall has one, because he was formerly the number one ranked flyweight when they first introduced the division. Benavidez was a perennial favorite to win the tournament. So it's two guys coming off losses to the same fighter and trying to make a name for themselves back in flyweight. So
yeah,
it'll be interesting.
I see this fight not being a #1 contender spot, more being one more fight away. I don't know who they'll put up against. The UFC is going to bring in some more competition for the flyweights, but I personally think that Benavidez had an off night against Johnson. I just think maybe the nerves got to him a little bit. I'm not too sure. But I definitely see him winning a decision here. Hopefully it's a good fight, maybe even fight of the night here. So the next fight we'll get into is John Fitch and Damian Maia. And this is Damian Maia's third fight at welterweight. This is going to be a good one here. I hope we see a good ground war on this one, actually, because every other fight is going to be a good stand-up one. So I hope we see a good ground war on this one. How about you, Saad?
I think, yeah, this is definitely going to be an intriguing grapplers matchup. Maia, that's what he's been known for. Like, he kind of got away for that at middleweight for a little while, just getting a decision after decision. But now that he's back, now he's down at welterweight, he's become a devastating finisher. that head squeezer, submission that he did on Rick Story, where blood was squeezing out.
Yep.
That was disgusting, and in an actually intriguing, really pretty cool way. And that shows how much power he has at that weight class. Fitch is a very strong welterweight. He grinds out decisions, typical wrestler style, and he's been known to have boring fights. But his last fight against Eric Silva,
oh my God,
won by the night.
That was insane.
Exactly. And the thing is, I guess styles make matches. I don't know how great this fight will be because Maia's not a striker, but I think they're both going to be willing to grapple with each other. So you might actually see an amazing tactical ground war. It might not be the prettiest fight, just depending what kind of positions they end up in. I think just Maia coming down from middleweight actually might be stronger than Fitch, and that might be the main factor here. And I think Maia's going to take a decision.
Yeah, the difference will definitely, if they decide to strike, the difference will be the striking. Damian Maia has improved leaps and bounds on his striking, and John Fitch he's not really known as a striker, more of a ground and pound guy, but the difference will be the striking. I think the jiu-jitsu is Maia. The wrestling is definitely in the favor of John Fitch. But Fitch has got great submission defense. As you can see in that last fight with Eric Silva, I think he had him in a guillotine or a rear naked choke.
Yeah, he did have him. He was really tight too.
Yeah, on the guillotine.
Got out of it, and then he just kept grinding away at it, man. And it was pretty. It showed how much resolve he has. But Damian Maia is one of the best grapplers in the world ever.
Yeah. And him having his first submission win in a long time with Rick Story. And Rick Story's a tough dude, man. He's a grinder. I mean, he's a great wrestler. And he just handled him like nothing and submitted him in the first round, I believe. And he just dominated him. So I hope I hope we see a good ground war in this fight. I'm not looking for a stand-up fight. I want to see a good jiu-jitsu match here.
Yeah, who do you have?
I have Damian Maia by decision.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Next fight, Alistair Overeem and Bigfoot Silva. Now, this fight, I think this one should be co-main event because of the size factor and how well known these fighters are. But just the fact that these guys are going to be like 300 pounds stepping into the octagon is just mind blowing. Like you're used to seeing heavyweights fight like at 230. Smaller guys. These guys are legit. They cut down to heavyweight, It's something special to watch, isn't it, Zod?
Yeah, it is pretty special. It actually reminds me, the thing is, the trend now is to move away from these gigantic heavyweights. This is more like the 2010 heavyweight, the Shane Carwins, the Brock Lesnars. These are what Silva and Overeem kind of represent. The trend nowadays is to move away from that to more like a 240-pound heavyweight, like Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez. Someone that can actually go like more distance. Mm-hmm. Like Cain Velasquez has showed that the heavyweight game is kind of changing, but at the same time, this is going to be an amazing matchup, mainly because they're both huge guys. I think Overeem takes this for the simple fact that he's a vastly better striker than Bigfoot, and Bigfoot also won't have a size advantage over him either. They're both very similar in size, so I really don't see what Bigfoot can do against Overeem. Like, Overeem's an amazing, like winning the K1 World Grand Prix, strike for heavyweight champion. He was actually originally supposed to fight Dos Santos for the title.
Yeah.
The only issue I see is that he's been away for so long, since December of 2011 after he beat Lesnar, but because of the suspension. But he's been participating in the voluntary tests. They were random as well, and he's passing them all. So there might be some little signs of ring rust, but ultimately I think he's going to pick them apart on the feet. And I think Overeem wins by first round TKO or a knockout, and then sets up a match with King. Actually, I don't think he's going to knock him out. I think he's going to get a TKO, because Bigfoot has a big head, and it's very hard, so I don't see him getting knocked out.
Yeah, I'm a fan of both fighters, but I see Overeem just keeping it standing. Even if Bigfoot goes for a takedown, we've seen in the Brock Lesnar fight when when Lesnar was shooting for takedowns and Overeem was just stuffing him. So, and Overeem's a way better wrestler than Bigfoot. So I see Overeem, feeling him out the first little bit, and then catching him with maybe a punch or a knee. Definitely a couple knees to the stomach, loosening up a little bit, and then knocking him out, just like Daniel Cormier did back in September of 2011. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And his chin, Bigfoot's chin might be a little suspect, because that fight, he looked really weak, Bigfoot, with his chin there.
What, against Cormier?
Against Cormier, yeah. And it just...
but I think he's kind of shorted up. Like the thing with the Velasquez fight, he got cut, so he went bloody like crazy.
Yep.
But he looked good against the Brown in the Brown fight. Like he won it by knockout. Even though like you could say, oh, Brown was injured, but you know what? A big win in a career that like saw 2 losses in a row.
Yep.
Pretty big deal. It could be a career turnaround, but Overeem eyes that title. Even though he really wants to Junior Dos Santos, I think that belt is more important to him just for his legacy's sake. He's won every other belt there is, from Dream, Strikeforce, and K1, and he really wants that UFC belt. And I really think that he's going to demolish so far.
Yeah.
Like he's still been making headlines even though he's been on suspension.
Exactly.
So that shows how much of a big player he is in that division.
Yeah, I'm literally looking forward to this one. It's just you don't see that often. You see two huge guys step in the ring. So in the octagon, I'm really looking forward to this one. But we're gonna go down a division to the light heavyweight division, and we got Rashad Evans and Little Nog. And now Little Nog's coming off a little bit of a layoff. Hasn't fought since his win over Tito Ortiz in December of 2011. Had a big win over Tito Ortiz. Kind of gave him a body shot, and then Tito kind of just turtled up and TKO'd him. But Little Nog in the UFC hasn't done too well against wrestlers, that being Ryan Bader and Phil Davis. And the main thing, he hasn't been able to execute his jiu-jitsu once they take him down. So I think Evans is gonna take a decision here, or maybe a late third round stoppage. Maybe. I just think that Rashad will be able to take him down, and he's hungry. He wants another shot at that belt at John Jones. The stand up, it's pretty even. Who knows what Rashad Evans has been doing in the meantime with his training with Tyrone Spong and Alistair Overeem. But Big Nog does got good stand up, but I don't think he's gonna be able to use it here. I think that Evans will take him down, and as I said, maybe grind out a decision win, or maybe even finish him in the third. How about you, Saad?
Well, to respond to your point, even if he wins, I don't think he's any closer to a title shot.
No, he still needs
the
2 or 3 big ones.
Second best ranked light heavyweight, and he will remain there forever. He's in a very Franklin-esque situation. Even though he didn't lose twice to Jones, there's no way you can justify ever giving him a title shot against Jones again. The way how handily he was defeated the first time. But the thing is, there's a lot of people talking about him potentially moving down to middleweight, or even like a catchweight. But I'm thinking middleweight because he still wants the title against Anderson Silva.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are talking about that. But back to this fight, Evans, exactly as you pointed out, he hasn't fought since losing Jones at UFC 145. The loss was hard on him, and one of the reasons why he hasn't fought in almost a year. But I think taking that time off, training with Spong, training with Overeem down with the Blackstone, has made him probably a way superior fighter, like when it comes to striking. But at the same time, he's a wrestling-based fighter. He has amazing wrestling, and I think there's a blueprint out there for how to beat Nogueira. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Just grind him. Just keep grinding him. Like, Nogueira is known for being an amazing boxer. And so why would you even want to take the risk of potentially getting knocked out? I don't see Evans getting knocked out because he has good striking. Mm-hmm. But why take that risk? So I think Evans would want to get that win. Hasn't fought over a year. He's going to probably grind out a decision. He could potentially TKO him, as you pointed out. I'm not sure which way to lean, but I'm pretty sure that Evans will win this.
Yeah, for sure, and I'm loving the fact that the light heavyweight division is getting a new birth almost. Maybe even last year wasn't. You have John Jones really, but now we got guys like Alexander Gustafsson. You got like Daniel Cormier possibly moving down to light heavyweight, and you got Chael Sonnen going up. The light heavyweight division is getting really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to the future of this division.
Yeah, you got to think also about Glover
Teixeira,
Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a new birth. Now on to our main event. This is a great main event. I'm really looking forward to seeing Frankie Edgar finally getting a chance to fight Jose Aldo. This is a fight I've been looking at for years. Just seeing that Edgar has always been outsized, whether he's fighting BJ Penn, Gray Maynard, or nowadays Ben Henderson. And by the way, both the fights with Edgar have been with Henderson have been very close fights. You could lean either way. I had Henderson winning both of them actually, but a lot of people say that Edgar's won those 2 fights, and they've been real close fights anyways. So I see in this fight, this is a tough one because Aldo has just been so dominant in his division. I think Edgar might take the win because he has the speed, and I believe that he's maybe one of the best wrestlers Aldo has ever faced. Maybe discluding Chad Mendes, but I see Edgar be able to get the takedown at will. The speed, it's going to be tough to see if Edgar gets some speed or stays the same at lightweight. The boxing or stand up is definitely going to go to Aldo. You know, he's got the vicious kicks. We've seen what he did to my idol Uriah Faber with his leg. But then again, Edgar has taken some good shots from Ben Henderson, who's way bigger than Jose Aldo, and it's just going to be a really good fight. Who do you got in this one, Saad?
Well, the story of this fight is Aldo's first real threat to his featherweight strap from a past champion seeking to reclaim glory in his natural home. Aldo is a monster. That's all. I don't necessarily want to say that he's been untested because he's faced very stiff competition, especially the 5th round in the Homnick fight.
Yeah.
But again, you could say that was due to a rough weight cut from an illness he was battling, so now he's been much better of late. He's been learning how to cut weight better, so that probably won't be a factor. But again, you got to think about this. This is a man whom Anderson Silva said that if he was at 185, Anderson Silva said he would retire. His leg kicks are devastating, as you could clearly see in the Faber fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he finishes opponents or dominates them in many different ways, from the Mendes fight to the Florian fight. So Monster is a title befitting the champ. However, Edgar at 145 could be equally amazing.
Yeah, he could be a new monster.
Exactly. The thing with Edgar is that everyone talks about him being a natural featherweight, a perfect fit for this weight class. If that is true, then that means we haven't even seen his true potential yet.
Mm-hmm.
Which also means that we have hardly anything to base his future featherweight performance on. He's beaten Maynard and Penn, and arguably he beat Bendo in the rematch as well.
Who do you think won those?
I did have him losing the first fight. Like I had Ben Henderson winning the first fight, but I had Edgar winning the second.
Yeah, that second one was definitely the closer one.
Yeah. If that's the case, he could legitimately lay claim to that title, and he could legitimately lay claim to this title as well. Like, him against Aldo should be... I don't even know which way to predict this fight, just because there's so many variables involved. From Aldo's explosive power to Edgar's ability to be so fast and being unable to be taken down, striking with bigger guys and taking punishment. The funny thing with Edgar, he looks the same after every fight at lightweight. I think he's going to look very similar to how he looked at the end of fights at lightweight here at featherweight, because Aldo has that much power. Aldo should be fighting at lightweight, and he's probably said as much that he kind of wants to go to lightweight because he feels like he hasn't been challenged. But what I'm thinking is going to happen here is that Edgar is going to keep the pace and match him, I think, blow for blow. But I don't see him taking Aldo down. It's just, there's really a lot of variables, and I don't know how it's going to go, but I think somehow Aldo's going to take it. I don't see him finishing Edgar because he's just so gritty.
Yeah, he's not finishing Edgar.
Yeah, well, he's probably going to hurt him a lot. Like, I'm seeing him dropping Edgar repeatedly, probably. Like, you saw that in the Maynard fight. He gets dropped. Like, he gets rocked. But the thing is, his recovery is so amazing. And I think maybe that's partly the reason that he's always getting rocked towards the end of the round. So the round just closes and allows him to survive. But there's a chance that maybe Aldo catches him early and finishes the fight. There's always the chance that he could TKO him. I'm not sure how likely it's going to be. And I'm seeing that maybe Edgar pours it on in the later rounds, maybe takes him as well. So I'm thinking Aldo. I'm not sure how it's going to be. Maybe a decision, maybe a TKO, but I'm thinking Aldo.
I'm saying Edgar by decision here. I think Edgar has faced a higher level competition. I'm not saying Aldo hasn't fought anybody. Like with Aldo fighting Kenny Florian said that the first kick in the Aldo fight was the hardest he's ever been kicked, and we've seen Kenny Florian fight at middleweight. So you got Aldo has huge power in his kicking game. But I just see Edgar.
Yeah, partly the reason why that kick hurt him so much is because he had no meat on it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. I just see Edgar getting the decision here. Hopefully we get to see Aldo in a little bit of trouble, like in the last round of the Hominick fight, when Hominick was able to take down Jose Aldo and do damage to him. We haven't seen anybody do that yet, so I'm hoping to see Edgar get some takedowns, see what Jose Aldo is on the ground, because supposedly everyone says that his jiu-jitsu his game is way better than his striking, but he just chooses to strike with people, eh?
Yeah, exactly. But like Aldo being taken down by Hominick is the reason. Did you see Aldo during that week? That's that weight cut. He had to actually be physically taken away during the weigh-ins because he was too sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looked like he was gonna faint right then and there.
And
like,
that hats off to Aldo there.
Yeah, like he survived that, and he won the first 4 rounds, but like, that just shows a testament to his championship spirit. Like in the face of adversity, he persevered through it. He might have to recall that spirit once again in this fight, because this fight is probably going to be the biggest test of his career. Like nothing comes close to this. Like Edgar's an amazing fighter, and he obviously has equal chance of taking this. This could be a coin flip, and I think Aldo's going to take it though.
Yeah. So I still think Edgar's going to take it, just because I think he's going to take it, because we don't know what he's going to be like at featherweight. I think he's going to be way better, and he's going with Aldo. I'm going with Edgar, and there you go. There are picks for UFC 156. Enjoy the fights this Saturday. They're going to be great. You will not want to miss them. All right, guys. See you guys next time.